No squish camera today because I'm home. Laptop, I'm not in the car. That's why I have this nice little brick background. Um, Happy Thriving Thursday. I hope all of y'all had a great week. It's the end of the month, so I hope y'all had a good month of June. Hoping that you're making great plans for the month of July. Yes. Hey Donovan, happy Thriving Thursday. And I'm not squished today because we on the home. No car session today. Hey Antonio, how are you? All right, so if y'all want to hop on at any point, just go ahead and let Cam know, and that'll be great. It's actually a couple of questions in here, so if y'all want to hop on, just reach out. So the topic today is they are watching us. Um, Donovan, don't do that. It's still gonna be good. Y'all gonna like it. So my first question, I'm checking in with y'all, checking in with everybody. So how are you all mentally, physically, emotionally, health wise? Just how were you feeling? Throw that up in the chat. I'll let y'all know. So last week I think I told y'all I slept through like my last. I was tired. Turns out I was sick, but I am getting better. I'm feeling better. So physically, I am right now a little drained. Emotionally, I feel fine. I started off my first week of classes this week, so I feel accomplished because I feel like I got with that. And then my next question, okay, I'm positive this week that everybody's feeling well. And if you aren't feeling well or you're feeling down, you know, that's fine too. It's always room for improvement. Mentally, I'm amazing. That's a great. See, I like that. Listening to we did talk about that, making sure you are paying attention to the messages that your body is sending you. So I'm good. So I am Tana. Had done anything for your headache? Have you been taking medicine? Anything? Just you know, like sleeping so that when because you have a headache, you never know. So you always want to make sure you're checking and taking care of your body. So if you are having headaches, just you go get that checked out. I was having headaches last week and I ended up actually being sick. So go ahead and make sure you get that checked out. Hopefully you're feeling it today. Um, Emotionally okay. Okay. Um, so if the medicine isn't working, look into what you're eating, how much sunlight you're getting, because that all can affect um, you having headaches as well. Getting over a cold, oof. Hope you getting plenty of fluids and all of that. All right, so my next, of course, so last week we talked about checking in on people and having people checking on you and stuff. So I wanted to know the conversation. Did you feel the need to check in on anybody? Did anything change as far as how you felt about people checking? You felt about checking in on people? Like, did you last week at all? Did you feel like okay, like we just had this conversation about checking in on people? Did um y'all did y'all anybody did anybody reach out to anybody to see how they were feeling or like just to see what they were dealing with? Has anybody you all that's a big reason why I has started doing like checking in with y'all because I realize a lot of the times we don't have people checking in. That was my main purpose last week. Sometimes we check in on people and they don't, and we don't get checked in on. So that is my effort to make sure that I am checking people around me. So that's why I do the check in with y'all. But did y'all check in with anybody? And if you did, like, did it affect your week at all? Did it change anything checking in on somebody? Did it change anything? How did you feel after you checked in with whoever you checked in? Did you get good news, bad news, anything? See, so sometimes checking in, and sometimes like your own, like, and it might just be like you might check in on somebody on the right time. That never like that could happen. Okay, it made you feel drained after checking in. Okay. Sometimes you could be reaching out to somebody at the right time, like you're something that may have saved somebody's life, or changed their decision on something that they may have been doing that could affect their life, and you could have changed that. Your check-in could have made their life a little more positive. And make sure when you're checking with positive intentions, like never check in with somebody with ill intent. If that's the case, just don't check in on them. And make sure when checking in on you, just make sure you're being honest. Um, just because I feel like if somebody's reaching out to check in, like a lot of times people are saying is being nosy. Those are people that you have to. Oh, hey Donovan.
Hi.
Hi. All right. So I want you to answer the questions then. How are you feeling mentally, physically, and emotionally? I think you answered that. So,
Yeah.
how, like, anybody, and how did it make you feel after?
I did check on someone. I checked on my sister because she has been going through a lot. Like my nephew, he got pneumonia, so it was like she was going through that, and then it was a lot. And at first I was like, wait, should I? Because I don't want it to be weird because like we haven't really like shown affection like that before.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to hug her, but I didn't want to make it weird. But then I was like, you know what? Why not? And then I did, and then like I could see the expression change on her face, and like it was honestly amazing. It made me happy.
See it, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you show up for people, like you may feel like, oh, I might not want to do this, but you may be what that person needs at that moment. And so that's great that you did that. I applaud you for doing that. And I'm glad that you took something from last week and applied it to your life this week. So the next thing, did anybody accomplish any goals? Donovan, have you accomplished any goals this week? Did you have any goals? I know I didn't really say like set a goal, but did you have any goals that you set for yourself that you may have accomplished this week or this month? Because it's the end of the month.
I say a goal I have accomplished for this month was to be, I don't know, I wouldn't say less mentally ill, but like, to like be more mentally healthy
Mhm.
because, the summertime, when the summertime come around, my entire schedule shifts. Like I'm not in school no more. So like I'd be like super depressed. But I met my psychiatrist on Tuesday, I think it was Monday. It was Monday. And we actually did like a depression scale test. And like I actually got a better score this time than last time, which is pretty good. So like I don't know, I've been like really happy lately.
See, that's great. Uh, Cam says she been going back to the gym. That's good. Yes, stop procrastinating, Cam. You need to. When I get better, we can go to the gym. And somebody else. Oh, 3 times. Okay. Listen, and Donovan, I am glad that mentally you're feeling better or you're showing better. Um, That's great because a lot of the times, like that season change and that shift is hard and it takes a toll on us. So the fact that it's changing for you, like it's going on the up. Donovan, I like your new rag. Listen, I have the button and the scarf today, so um, oh god. Cam, it's okay. You can redo the edges. So it's good that your mental is going back up. Because it's not always an easy process, and it's not a quick process. So don't ever expect it to be quick. And that's why we have to put measures in place to make sure that we're getting to where we need to be mentally. And that's actually like some stuff we're going to talk about today. So you'll see. So whenever you want to chime in, you let me know. Um, but how has your summer been? And that's for everybody. How has your summer been so far? Summer just kind of started, and what have you done in the month of June to make yourself better?
Can I answer?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. I say my summer has been amazing so far. So far, things I've done, I've like taken walks and just I want to say kept to myself, but like take some time to like be with myself because I'm usually out helping other people or doing other things, but I don't really take time to like pay attention to myself and what I need and want. So I just take walks. Like I really like staring at the clouds. I told Cam the other day I want to be a cloud, and I like the clouds are so peaceful. And yeah,
See, and it's crazy because that's similar to what Lakeisha is saying. Just doing more for yourself and making yourself happy. And actually, that is something that I did this week. I couldn't really do too much, so I went and started taking walks, and it was peaceful. Like put my phone on do not disturb, cut on some music, and just start walking. And it's like I was outside for like 45 minutes just walking, and I felt so good after. Like y'all are funny. Um, and then okay, Cam, deciding to take a break. That's great. Kayla's summer has been relaxing. That's good. I'm glad that your summer can be relaxing. That's excellent. So the next thing, what have you done to make yourself better? So for me, I'm gonna answer the last three questions. Um, I'm gonna answer the last three questions. So something I accomplished. My goal was to make sure I started off school strong, start off my first week strong for my master's program. And I did. I started off really strong. Finished all my work real early. Like work wasn't due until Wednesday and Friday, and I did it all Monday, and I did it with quality. So that's something I accomplished. I was very proud. My summer it's been cool so far. Like I mean I haven't really done much. I've traveled with the team that I coach, but that's pretty much it. And then I went away for my birthday, and that was exciting. I had a great time. And something I did to make myself better. Just enforcing myself this week on my schedule for how I want to be when it comes to school. Like, and I think I definitely started off strong. And that was one of my goals is to make sure that I start off really strong. Um, Cam, you talking about getting a silk press? Yes, I'm trying to be the best scholar that I can be. Um, oh, Antonio, buying new outfits and shoes. Listen, it is time to go shopping. Just saying. Um, so, well, that's the goal, Cam. That actually is my goal. I want to get my PhD. I really do. Um, so my next slide is who are they and why are they watching us? Because I know y'all probably was looking at the beginning screen like okay who is they, so it's our next generation of leaders. So like Cam has little leaders like you said, it's just our next generation of leaders. And so a question that I had for you all was what example are you setting for the generation behind you? So what are things that you are doing or implementing in your life that are going to show in the children that are around you, the youth that are around you? Like what are some things that you do to show them how to navigate through life and just anything, and more so positive. I would hope it's positive. Go ahead, Donovan.
I guess I could say one. Did you say example that you're setting down? Yeah, example. I guess you could say is being your authentic self, because
Okay.
I know sometimes it's hard when you get into new crowds when people don't like certain people, but it's like, who cares? Be who you are.
Hmm. That's great. And I'm still reading y'all comments. Somebody going to get seafood. Leaving drugs alone. Okay. Okay, yes, being transparent on how you feel. That's a really good one. Because a lot of the times that's something that children don't see. They don't see adults being transparent in their feelings, so it's hard for them to navigate how they are supposed to express their feelings, or just how they're supposed to show emotion. So a lot of the kids like will see like they seem emotionless, but then you have to look at the adults around them. Whereas if you're not expressing your feelings and you're not showing these children that it's okay to express your feelings, it's hard for them to express themselves. And I would say like, so what are you showing them? Like, how are you showing them the importance of mental health and physical health? So for me, definitely, like, I try to make sure, like, I even tell my children, like, y'all go outside and play. Like, put the iPad down, put the phone down. Um, I definitely ask them how they feel about stuff. Like even when they get in trouble, there are conversations had. Um, but I ask them how they feel about stuff. I allow them to express their opinions on things as long as it's respectful. And if you communicate your feelings and you are communicating your distaste for things respectfully, even for things that children are doing, it gets easier for them to express themselves. For physical health, just going outside and letting them see you care about your physical health. So I'm not going to be sitting here eating a cheeseburger and telling my children, oh, you need to eat salads. Lead by example. Is like we shouldn't be leading with the do as I say, not as I do type of mindset, because then they'll grow up and they're like when they get older and they have children that they need to teach to do things, they're going to try to lead the way that they were led. So you want to lead by example. Trying to be vocal about raising. Yes. So a lot of the times you're okay. I'm about to answer you, Cam. So a lot of the times, as adults, we could tell kids like, okay, do it because I said so. No, you have to explain it to them. Like a lot of times, like you can say, okay, put your seatbelt on, and they may see you put your seatbelt on, but sometimes they need that explanation. Put your seatbelt on because it will protect you. Because kids are curious, and that's how they learn. They learn through you explaining things. They learn through you showing them things. But you can't just show them and expect them to be like, okay, that's it. Sometimes you have to explain. Like my son all the time is why. My nephew is why. Well, how, why, what? Because they want to know, and it's good because if you explain to them, then they have a better understanding. But if you just tell them like, oh, okay, because you can't, then they're gonna go and try it themselves, and now they're gonna get in trouble. So Cam's question was, what does respect look like to me? So respect looks to me with it looks like I would explain as having a soft tone. So not explaining with attitude, but having a soft tone and leaving you can leave questions or some of your answers open ended so that the child has time and has the space to express how they feel, question the things that they need to question. And so you have to show them that. And a lot of the times when you're talking and you're trying to be respectful, it's all about your tone. It's usually not about what you say, it's how you say it. And so that's something that I have to practice a lot. And uh using your face. I know for me, I can be very, very stone faced. I do have RBF and I try not to. So a lot of times when I'm explaining stuff to people, especially people younger than me, like it's like, oh, she has an attitude. No, that's my face. But now I am aware of that. I try to smile more, or I try to even use hand gestures or like soften my tone. I wouldn't say that I have a very sharp tone. I am actually very soft spoken, but sometimes when things, my tone can get a little sharp. My tongue can get a little sharp. So sometimes I have to reel it in. So respect to me looks like just easy to come to, easy to express. So make like leaving room for everybody to have an opinion opposed to just saying this is my way and this is it. You can't do that to children. You can't even do that to adults. Like even at work, if you say I'm doing something wrong, I want to know why it's wrong and how I can fix it. And you have to do that well. That's just how we learn. Like that's how we learn in general with anybody. Donovan, what does respect look like to you?
That's a great question. When it comes to respect, I say, how can I explain respect without saying the word respect? That's a great question. I think respect to me looks like communication and the conversation in
Mm-hmm.
a understanding way, because we might not always see eye to eye, but when you finally decide to communicate and express yourself, it should be in a way that, I don't want to say disrespect because that's kind of like ruin a definition, but it should be in a way that creates a space for the both of you to be safe.
Okay, so like a comfortable.
Yes.
Okay. And then Antonio said, in life, not knowing everything is okay. And that's nobody knows everything. Literally, nobody knows. We're all learning as we go. Like adults, we don't know everything because the adults that raise know everything. Nobody knows everything. So it's hard. Everybody's learning. Things change every day. Like literally, things change every day. Respect looks like having an open ear both when you're speaking. Yes. So listening to understand and not to respond. That's a great way to show respect. Um, Not assuming, not cutting people off. Yeah, listening to understand. That's a very big thing. Um, okay, so Antonio, yours sounds like really like the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. That's kind of what you're saying. I don't know if as kids that's something that you all were taught or that was brought to your attention a lot. And I learned that the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. Um, so our next thing, um, the next thing, so what have we been taught? So what are some things that we learned about health from our parents? So Donovan, you can go ahead. You can go first, and then I'll go.
That health is important because my mother's a nurse, and like she always had these crazy stories like that, and she has dealt and is dealing with mental illnesses just like me. Probably hereditary, who knows? But um, the health is important, and that you can't take it for granted.
That's I like that. Um, so something I learned about health from my parents, definitely from my dad, a lot about just like being careful with the things that you eat, and being active. My dad was a professional athlete, and then so he has kids where all of all of my siblings were all athletes. Um, so my dad definitely did show us the importance of just getting out and working hard when it came to keeping your body right and stuff. My dad actually, like, he would go to the doctors with me, and I think I talked about this like two weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We talked about like the different body types, and when I started to develop a little bit more muscle, I started getting heavy, and my dad definitely made sure that I did what I needed to do so that I could stay in the right range of being healthy, but not like under eating or overeating. My dad will definitely comment like, "All right, you don't need to eat that. It's not necessarily good." And because I wouldn't say that he was picking on me, but I do say that he was preparing me for my future. Like he was preparing me to know certain things that just aren't good for you. So those times where we drove past McDonald's, my dad did buy the McDonald's, the Greek Village, and all of that. But there would be times where my dad would be like, no, we're gonna eat at home. Like that's more so like a weekend thing, every once in a while thing. That's not something you want to put in your body every day. So from my father, as far as health, I learned about just being able to like now we talk about having cheat days, being able to reward yourself. So if you're eating properly, then maybe you can go and have a burger, but that's not something you want to put in your body every day. And so I appreciate him for teaching. Definitely my mom, when I was younger, my mom would go to these exercise classes, and I think that my interest in the exercise because I would see my mom going, and the instructor, he was kind of like an uncle to me, so he would allow me to take in. So I think that what that made me like want to be a trainer or even possibly own a gym. Like that gave me that see how people felt after losing weight, or like people who had gained weight, and just the confidence that you were seeing them from those classes. I learned a lot, and so I appreciate my mother for even putting me in the room. Like there may have been my mother may not have been able to certain things about the sports that I played, but she definitely supported me. My mom definitely, she wasn't when I was running track, she wasn't going to the track running with walk. And that's another thing she did. She did go and walk. She wasn't gonna run with me, but she would be there. And so sometimes it's not about being able to do it because I know that my mother is not gonna go on the track with me and run sprints. But she showed up. At least she took me in getting her exercise and in her way. So that showed me that everybody's health and their um physical capabilities are different. And I learned that from my mother, and I learned not to judge people on what they can and can't do as far as their health, like physical activity. I had to learn that quick because I would get upset like, Mom, why you don't want to run with me? But then I learn like, okay, she's a grown woman, children, like this is not her forte. And my mother was a dancer. I did dance just like my mom, but my mother was more of a dancer, a contact sport athlete. So I had to learn that there are different ways to still be healthy besides running hard and sprinting and stuff like that. So that's something that I definitely learned from both of my parents. Um, and I guess that kind of talks about what stuck with me. So, do any of y'all have anything that your parents like implemented or like drilled into your head or into your life about physical health, mental health, and it stuck with you?
This is like kind of an add-on to what you said about dancing. Um, I'm a really good dancer and I like dancing a lot. And when I wanted to like pursue like dancing teams, my mom was actually there for me, like encouraging me, which is really nice because like to this day I still dance. Like it may not be in front of crowds in public, but I'll bust a little move here and there, listen to some
Okay.
music, break a sweat, get the exercise in, and like afterwards I feel accomplished.
Mm. And that's what it is. Sometimes we just need people to show up for it. So, okay. So Cam, if you're saying that you don't think that your parents pay enough attention to your health, to their health, did that at all did that make you want to pay more attention to your health? Like, I, and we gonna get into that. Like, okay, um, but I mean, I talked about the stuff that stuck with me from my parents, and that was mainly for like that was mainly for physical health. For mental health, um, I don't. I don't really I'm not gonna say that my parents did not cater to my mental health, but I don't think that I really, really learned about mental health and mental illnesses until I got older. And it helped me understand myself more. Like it really helped me understand myself more. Like when I got older and I learned about anxiety, social anxiety, and depression, like I had to learn that stuff in school. Okay, and Cam trying to be more aware, pay attention to. Okay, one thing my mom was telling me is okay. That's good advice, actually, Antonio. Um, but yeah, like mental health wise, I don't ever remember my parents sitting down and like explaining to me like it's okay to not be okay. And so then it gets to what are some things that we knew that we wouldn't take into our adulthood from our parents. And I think that's one thing that I would say that I would not take away from my parents is just like, I feel like as a child, it was more, especially with like, I mean, with both parents, like, um, just saying like, stop crying or like, what are you crying for? Like, I'm crying because I feel hurt or I'm crying because I feel the need to cry. I'm feeling all of the emotions that make me cry. So that's one thing that I wouldn't take away from my parents. Like when my son cries, like I'll let him cry for a little bit, but then it's like, okay, now you need to stop crying and explain why you're crying. Why do you feel that way? Opposed to just saying, shut that crying up. No. Children cry, children feel emotions. And so a lot of the times I think that growing up there was space to talk about it, but it was limited space. So it wasn't an open table. And I want to bring an open table to my children. So I want my children to be able to feel open about talking about what they're feeling because it's hard and going through stuff alone is hard, especially when you don't understand what you're going through. So a lot of the times, like as a kid, like I would get in these like just like to myself, like I would feel like I'm sad, or I would have random times where it's like I would cry and I wouldn't know what I was crying for, but I experienced loss at an early age. And so as I grew up, I realized like there was a part of me missing. But as a kid, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why I was upset. I didn't understand like when I was younger, I didn't really understand the whole funeral thing. But then when I got older and it got to the point, I'm like, oh, this person isn't coming back. But I didn't understand that because I don't think that it was ever properly explained to me. So then I didn't know how to handle those emotions. And then so like from about 17 and under, I didn't really, really understand. And I didn't I wasn't able to express that to my parents because space to talk about your feelings, especially in the African American community, are limited. It's especially in and this is a big thing that I don't understand is when men are saying to little boys, stop crying, men don't cry. No, men cry. Men cry. Men hurt just like women hurt. We all hurt. And that's something that the African American community I wish would get out of. And even for women, like I love the strong black woman, but why do we always have to be the strong black woman? And then go down. No, we should be able to say, like, listen, I'm not feeling today. I'm not feeling strong today. I'm hurting today. See, Cam, and it's crazy because I've only seen my dad cry. I've only seen my father cry one time. Once. It's when he lost his best friend. One time I've seen my father cry, maybe twice, but that's it. See, Antonio, everybody needs a good cry every once in a while. Like everybody. Like there are times where you might just cry and it might be just a buildup of stuff. And it's okay. And Lakeisha, that's Donovan took the words right out of my mouth. Like Like my son had these Crocs. Miss Mo bought him Crocs, and I was really upset because he picked up the Crocs. They were like the rainbow ones. They were dark, and my father was like, "He's a boy. He don't need to wear that. They got purple in them. Boys gonna like purple. Purple is not a girl color. That colors don't have genders. But purple is a sign of royalty, and my favorite color is purple. So that may be why my son likes purple." Oh, Cam, I really hope that you feel better. I really do. If you need to talk about it, you have my email, girl. Um, so the next thing is oh, Donovan, did you answer? What is something that you wouldn't take?
You said wouldn't take or
Yeah, what's something that you wouldn't take into like your adulthood? So like grown adults, and like when you have kids, if you decide to have kids, or just how you live your life. What is something like mentally and physically you would not take into your adulthood?
a lot of times when it comes to like, mental health, parents don't want to show it. And it's
Hmm.
like because they don't show it, kids don't know that it's a normal thing. So they try to hide it and then they just build it up and they don't talk about it, which is a bad thing. And I like what you were saying about crying sometimes because it's just a build up. Because I know me sometimes, like during the school year, like I'd be really stressed and like just things be happening. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have this little cross section tonight, get it all out, and then I'm gonna calm myself down and then get right back to it. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, crying sometimes you could say is almost like a cleanse. Um, and something I wouldn't take physically, like as far as my physical health. Um, I would see my mom go on walks and stuff, but definitely like I would rather just get out there a little bit more when it comes to my children as far as like let's go to the track together. Like I would be the one to ask my mom a lot, and I would be sad because I would be like, oh, she doesn't want to go to the track with me. But then I had to realize like, my mom did work and stuff like that. But I think I would give when it came to stuff like that as an adult, I feel like I would give my children more yeses than nos, um, because you never know why they need to get out and run, or why they need you specifically in that moment or that day to come with them. Like, so um, that's another thing. Like, I would try to give my children more yeses than nos, especially like, I mean, I know that I'm busy, my children are busy, but and like not taking anything away from what my mother did raising me, but I mean she was working and she had a lot of stuff going on, like just really working taking and that can be a lot. But I would try to give my children more yeses than nos when it comes to getting out there and being physically active. With sometimes it may be what they need. I am a type of person where I prefer to work out alone, but if I need somebody to go with me, I ask. I think I brought this up like a while ago. I'm only going to ask you to go to the gym if I need it. Like if I need somebody to go with me, I'm gonna ask because maybe I feel like it that day, or maybe I don't want to be alone that day, and that's not too often. So, um, but where did your example for physical health come from? My example for my physical health, my parents, my brother. Um, I watched like my older cousins and stuff. I had a cousin, when I say I wanted to be just like her, I wanted to be just like her. She played a sport. I was like, oh, I'm going to play a sport. I'm playing that sport. She played soccer. I'm going to play soccer. She played lacrosse. I played lacrosse. I wanted to be just like her, like she self. And my example for my mental health, I would say it would be that same because she taught me a lot about just catering to my health. So not even just catering to myself, but catering to my mental. Like she checks in all the time, but um I feel like we have a bond where like she taught me a lot when it comes to like being able to take my being able to vocalize how I feel, because that's not something that I was good at. And I learned a lot about it in college. Also, I went to a liberal arts college, so a little more free, and so you learn a lot. I didn't learn to use my I feel statements until I was in college. And that's something that I came home with. And my mother was like, "Oh, you're using I feel statements?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I learned it." And it taught me a lot. Like it makes when you can say like I feel hurt when you do this to me because like I had to learn that because a lot of times I would just shut down, get out of that because as you get older, you can't just shut down on people. Unfortunately, you can't. Like there, you're gonna have times where you shut down where you don't feel good or you don't feel doing anything, but you have to be able to use those statements and just let people know, like when you did this, it made me feel like this, and then because some people don't understand the things that they do and how they make other people feel because they've never been taught. Um, mm, older siblings on my yes, growing up with active siblings and parents is always great. I love to see it. Donovan, where did your for mental and physical health come from?
Before I answer that question, I like what Gemma said. Like sometimes I'll be seeing Gemma dance with her mother's her sister on Instagram. And it's like really fun to see that
Mm,
bond. So like I really like that. I guess you could say my examples of physical health came from my siblings. We were like always like be active with each other, if that makes sense. Like we would dance together, we would play sports together, we would just run around together and have fun.
mhm,
And mental health, my example came from you all actually, because I didn't talk about mental health much, even though I've dealt with mental illness for the majority of my life
mhm.
until last summer. So yeah.
And so a lot of the times, especially in our community, it goes unnoticed, it goes undiagnosed. I didn't know nothing about social anxiety. I just knew that when I got around a lot of people, I did not want to be there. Like my heart would be fast. I would literally feel sick, but I didn't because it was never brought to my attention. So it's like I'm glad that like this generation is now stand on like just being more aware of our mental health and like a lot of that like the drug use and stuff a lot of it comes from mental illness or it causes mental illness and it's like you'll have those family members where people are like oh they're crazy. No, they're dealing with something helping them. Nobody's helping them, nobody's there because nobody understands because they weren't taught so they didn't teach us. But now that we're understanding a little bit more about it, now we can teach the generation behind us. And that's why I wanted to bring this up. Like, you know, we weren't taught, but now we know. So let's teach them so that it can continue to get better. Um
What you just said was real. It was real, not to lie. What was I gonna say about mental health? Um, when it comes to like TV shows and movies, I don't really like the way they depict mental health. Like you said, like, oh, he crazy. Like that is not what mental health is, and I don't really understand why I do that. He said something else, and I forgot it. Like it literally to my mind, and my mind said what you said was real. But I'm gonna come back to it. I'm gonna come back to it.
okay, Kayla's in the army. Oh yeah, yeah. That physical health there is definitely there. Um some things that were done for you as a child to cater to your health. Like, I mean, a big thing I would say would be our parents as kids, because I mean, you can't necessarily cook for yourself when you're that little. So that is something that I guess to your health, whether it was negative or positive. One thing that my mother did not do, my mother did not make a lot of eats. And I'm grateful for that. Like I told y'all before, like I love chicken, but I don't crave it. I don't eat a lot of fried food. I don't eat fried seafood at all. So anything fried is probably chicken. And if Miss Mo was on here, she would tell y'all I'm not like I love a chicken eater, if that makes sense. I definitely pick at my chicken, and it's because like I know for the longest time I did not like it because it was fried, so I couldn't do it. Um, mental health. We saying that. Okay, Antonio. You're right though. It definitely noticed. So Donovan, what are some things that your parents did for you to cater to either your mental or physical health or both?
Podcast. But
Cam, don't
I
listen.
just
Don't do me like that. I try my best.
I just
I
know
really.
the bones still be full when you're done eating your chicken. I just know. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But I do have to piggyback off of you. My mother did cook for me a lot when I was growing up, and one thing I noticed, she didn't like do fried stuff all the time, but sometimes she switched it up and she went baked and barbecue. And I didn't know why at first, but like growing up and learning more about food, I understood why. And I remember what I wanted to say. Um, I just like when people say that this generation is soft because we talk more about mental health, and it's like we're not soft. We just learned about it, and we want it to be better for everyone.
Mhm. All right. All right, Cam. Don't do that to my chicken. But Donovan, I definitely get you. Especially like being a coach, and that is actually a term that I try to get out of using. Um, but like especially when it comes to health, like there are a lot of things that this generation does have different as far as like when it comes to certain things, like the way they interpret things, and how they're being said. Especially like I said, being a coach is very different. But But as far as like expressing feelings and like having opinions on things, I applaud you all for that because my generation, um, and I promise y'all, I'm not that much older than y'all. Um, I'm really not. I'm really not. Like I
You
promise
are
you.
like my generation, yo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We kind of in the same boat. I promise y'all, I'm not. I'm not that much older than y'all. But um, like as far as me growing up, like I was scared to express my feelings, or I was scared to say I didn't like something. Like when I got older, and my parent, like, not necessarily my mother, but like my grandmother found out there was stuff that I didn't like. Like my grandmother, like they would make pork and stuff. I never liked pork, but as a kid, is oh I put it on your plate, so eat it. And when I got old enough to say like I don't really like this, or I got to pick what was on my plate, and people started saying like, "Oh, you didn't like that," and then I got to the point where I would tell people like I never liked it. I never liked it. When I got in high school, I did express my feelings a little bit more, but it was when people would make comments to me, I would definitely like have a comeback. And it was more so like, and the comment was always, "Oh, you act just like your mother," and I was like, "Okay, I do," because I have an opinion, and like I had to get to the point where I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like when you say that to me. Don't tell me that. Like I had to let people know that. Yes, like a lot of times it's you're being disrespectful. No, but it's like again, like I said, like it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you like if my son looks at me and he's like, "Mommy, I don't like that." Okay, let's try something different. With my daughter's, "Mommy, I don't want to do that." Okay, let's try something different. Um, so the next thing definitely is leading by example. Um, and this is just basically just reiterating some of the things that I said before. Like catering to the feelings of our youth is very important. And don't ignore a child's feelings because I know for me, don't ignore a child's feelings because you know how it feels to have your feelings ignored and you know what it did to you. So why would you want it done to somebody else who is going to be our next leader? Um, and like I said, using the I feel statements, make that a thing. Like introduce that because if it's not introduced, they don't know. Like children don't know. They learn how to talk from us. They learn how to express themselves from us. So say like, okay, if you don't like something, you can say I feel and give your feeling. And also like a lot of the time children don't even know the difference. Like they don't even know the different words to express themselves. So a lot of the times like their only two expressions are I'm sad, I'm happy. No. open up that open up that world to them where they can see like there are more feelings than just sad and happy, and allow them to express that, and express your feelings openly. I think Cam said that at the beginning, like she expresses her feelings with the younger generation as well. Express how, like, if a child does something, express how it makes you feel, or express to them why it wasn't okay and how someone else may feel. So, like, you just have to be open with kids. Like, you have to understand, if you were learning at some point and now they're learning and you're the teachers. And if we're not being good teachers, we can only imagine what the rest, like, what the next generation is going to look like, what the next generation is going to look like. Each generation is supposed to get better. Um, so at this point, it starts with you. Each generation has to get better, and if we're not doing anything to make the next generation better, they may not possibly have the capability to make the generation behind them better, because they were never taught, and so they don't have an understanding of how to make things better. Donovan, you have any input on this?
Sorry, y'all. I'm about to sound like, but I definitely agree with what you said about the food thing. I never really understood why parents would like force their children to eat certain things growing up if they didn't like it. I didn't really like that, and it's like, okay, if you were that age, you wouldn't want to eat it either, or like if it was something you didn't like, you wouldn't eat it. So why are you trying to force them? And I also like I like this entire slide. Like you inspire me so much. And when it comes to different things, like people trying to force kids to hug them, give them kisses, it's like if they say no, they said no. Leave them alone. Just because they're younger than you, doesn't mean that they don't have a sense of mind. Then they can't decide things for themselves, which is like always really absurd when people think that way. But yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Donovan. Somebody said you better be dropping a jewel.
Cam, not too much, not too much.
So the next thing before we go, dang, this session feel like it went fast. So the next thing, definitely get outside. Um, and like I said before, it starts with you. Take the children outside. Let them see you being active, because if they don't see it, they're not gonna do it, or they're not gonna understand it. Never make physical activity. You're welcome. Never make physical activity a punishment. Like if you're playing sports and it's, oh, you messed up and you run, that's fine. But like, don't have the kids like make you mad in the house and just go outside and run 5 miles. They're gonna hate running. Um, and overall, just have fun. Like, allow kids to have fun, and have fun with them. Allow kids to see you have fun. I think that's one thing that, um my kids see me have fun sometimes, but I think that's one thing that I have to be a little more open about, because sometimes being a parent, your children see you more as you're being serious, where there are times where you do have fun with them, but for them, they might want to see it even if you're having fun without them, and they can see that. So like when I go away, like I'll send my kids pictures and, hey, I went here, like I saw this, I did this, because they need to see it. Because for me, I know like going on trips and doing certain things, that's a part of my self-care. So that may be something that my children see as self-care for themselves. Like last year for my daughter's birthday, her best friend went away. So for her birthday, she wanted to go away. She got to be away from her brother for like a week or two. And for her, that's self-care. So start it off early and allow them to have fun. Allow kids to just be open, be free, because you never know what you're gonna get out of a child. And if you shut them down too early, you never know what you stopped, because you didn't leave the door, or you didn't leave the floor open for them to be the person that they needed to be at the time to become the adult that they wanted to be, or that they needed to be. You're welcome. But so Donovan, do you have anything? And then I want you to drop your jewel.
I don't really have much to say. Don't mind my nephew in the background. But I like really appreciate you so much. And every time you have these sessions, like I get like so excited because like you're always dropping jewels 24/7. And I really appreciate how you took it from like you took leadership and like put it into physical health as well, which is pretty good. And I guess my jewel would be this is actually from Coach Desmond, and it's that you don't find yourself, you define yourself. This is actually my jewel this morning, and like it really sounded to me when he said that yesterday. I'm like, wait, because like this actually go hard because you know who you are, and even when you don't know who you are, you still have your being with you. You just change the meaning, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for having me. I definitely appreciate you, Donovan, because that was like one of my big things. I was like, dang, like I see all their comments, but like I want to interact with them because I really wanted to know like what you all felt besides just typing it. So that definitely was. I appreciate that. I appreciate how active you all have been. My jewel definitely is it starts, um, and I'm gonna say that because it doesn't just yes, Cam. So it because it doesn't just your parents, their job, what they've done, it's done. So now whatever you didn't like or whatever you want to change, start with you. So things in yourself so that you can be an example for the people around you. But yeah, thank y'all.
We basically cousins
And
now. We like this. We locked in.
I got
Yeah.
you. Got
Yeah.
you. But yeah, so thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your Thursdays and enjoy your week. And I'm out of here. Oh yeah, me and
Not too much,
Cam and
Cam. Not too
cousins.
much though.
So I have to say, yeah, don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
I have to say, cause Cam don't even know. Like Cam, you've been my cousin like longer than you think, longer than you know. Oh, Miss Mo is on here.
Miss Mo, it's our cousin now. Come on.
But yeah, enjoy yourselves. Love y'all. Glad that I got to be here with y'all. Bye.